A teenage girl and her boyfriend have been charged with beating the girl's grandparents to death. 17-year-old Cassandra Bjorge and her boyfriend, 19-year-old Johnny Ryder, are each charged with murder and aggravated assault after police found 63-year-olds Randall and Wendy Bjorge dead in their Georgia home.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to GrayDays TV, and today I'm going to be talking about a 16-year-old girl named Cassandra Bjorge, who, along with her 19-year-old boyfriend Johnny Ryder, killed her grandparents, partied in their house, and planned to kill again before they were caught. Cassandra's grandparents, Randall and Wendy Bjorge, were described as some of the nicest people you could ever meet. The elderly couple were respectful, pleasant to be around, and always willing to lend a hand to a family member or a friend. And that kindness was put on display when they decided to take in their troubled 16-year-old granddaughter, Cassandra Bjorge. But Cassandra would prove to be a handful for the elderly couple, and she actually ran away on several occasions. And over the course of several months in 2016, Cassandra was reported missing by the worried elderly couple more than once. On December 18th of 2016, Cassandra's grandmother Wendy took to Facebook and reported Cassandra missing, but she returned home sometime in January of 2017. And a few months later, on April 1st of 2017, Cassandra ran away again, and Wendy again took to Facebook asking if anyone had seen her granddaughter. And like last time, Cassandra did return home, but at this point, the Gwinnett County Police considered her a habitual runaway, so they started taking these claims a little less serious. But Cassandra's grandparents felt that she wasn't fully to blame. Wendy and Randall Bjorge put a lot of the blame on Cassandra's 19-year-old boyfriend, Johnny Ryder. And if there is one thing that no teenage girl wants to hear, it's that her guardians don't like her boyfriend. And due to her grandparents' dislike for her boyfriend and other reasons that only her and Johnny know, Cassandra and Johnny put together a plan to take her grandparents out of the picture. So one night in early April, Cassandra and Johnny waited outside of her grandparents' house for the lights to turn off. And once the elderly couple went to bed, Cassandra and Johnny snuck into the house and went upstairs to their room and attacked them. Johnny took out Cassandra's grandfather, and Cassandra dragged her grandmother into the bathroom, where she beat her before slicing her throat. The teens then barricaded the bedroom and continued to live in the house for a couple days, even going as far as throwing a party. So the party came and went, and several days passed with the bodies still undiscovered. Meanwhile, the teenage killers lived in the house as if nothing was wrong. They lived without restraint, and soon, with the help of the confidence they gained in the double murder, began to create even more evil schemes, including taking revenge on Johnny's mother and sister. So the next Saturday, April 8th of 2017, Johnny and Cassandra traveled to his mother's home on Rambling Woods Drive. His sister and her boyfriend arrived shortly after they got there, and when she went to her room, she noticed that it was torn apart and that several items were missing. And when the two went to confront Johnny and Cassandra downstairs, Johnny immediately pepper sprayed both of them and then yelled for Cassandra to grab a baseball bat. Cassandra and Johnny then went on to beat the two savagely with the baseball bat, but somehow they were able to get away, and once they got away, they immediately called 911. But when the police arrived, Johnny and Cassandra were gone. All they left behind was Cassandra's grandparents' car, which led police back to their residence. A residence the Gwinnett County Police knew far too well. Coincidentally, earlier that day, or earlier that week, depending on which reports you read, the Gwinnett County Police actually visited the Bjorge household for a welfare check. And that was due to the fact that family members weren't able to get in touch with the two recently. And earlier that day, although no one answered the door, police didn't feel they had probable cause to actually enter the home forcefully, so they just left. But hours later, when they found themselves at that home again, they decided that they did have probable cause, and they forced their way into the home. And once they got upstairs, they discovered the bodies of Randall and Wendy Bjorge. And although it wasn't clear when they died, it was very clear that they didn't die of natural causes. And based on the circumstances surrounding the recent welfare check that they had just attempted earlier that day or earlier that week, police were reasonably sure that they knew who was responsible for Randall and Wendy's death. So the search for Cassandra and Johnny began, and they were eventually tracked to an apartment complex in Sewanee, Georgia, called the Residence at McGinnis Ferry Apartments. The two had apparently barricaded themselves in one of Johnny's friends' apartments and were not planning on leaving. And the standoff with police actually lasted about an hour or so before SWAT was called and they surrounded the complex. And after using a little friendly robot with a camera on it, SWAT were able to determine that Johnny and Cassandra were passed out on the floor of the apartment due to self-inflicted wounds. So once SWAT figured that out, they rushed into the apartment and they rushed the two to a hospital. And once it was clear that they were going to pull through, they were immediately arrested and charged with murder. And they both pled guilty and were each sentenced in 2018 to 2 life sentences with the possibility of parole in 60 years, plus 21 years to be served concurrently with the life sentences after they pleaded guilty to murder, aggravated assault, and theft in the April murders of Bjorge's grandparents. So since Johnny Ryder was 19 years old and considered an adult, he was actually up for the death penalty, but since he actually pleaded guilty, they decided to just go with a life sentence. And while in court, Johnny Ryder asked for forgiveness and described his crimes as evil. "I know what I have done is abominable and evil and is deserving of hellfire. I would like to express my deepest apologies to the Bjorge family. I'm so sorry for the pain and grief I have caused all of you." Cassandra was also given the same opportunity and time as Johnny to ask for forgiveness or just say anything she wanted to say, but she actually didn't say anything throughout the entire trial.
Did not say a word during when she had the opportunity from the judge. I wish she had given that family something. I don't know if it's that she still hasn't processed the full extent of what she's done, or if she's just a lost soul and doesn't have it.
What do you make of this young lady who was charged with these serious accusations? I mean, this is awful.
It's bad. In all of the interviews that law enforcement had with her, she never expressed any remorse, never showed any remorse. One of the deputies overheard her say, "Look at me on TV, I'm a star."
What about Mr. Ryder? Was he remorseful? He sounded remorseful in court.
According to what he said in court today, seemed to be remorseful. I don't know how genuine that is. I hope it was, but one never knows.
And I don't really have anything to say about this. I think this is pretty straightforward. We'll never really know why Cassandra and Johnny decided to do this, besides just the easy thing to look at and say, oh, well, she didn't like her grandparents, so she wanted to kill them. A lot of people don't like their family members, don't like their parents. They don't kill them. So there has to be a little more going on for her to go that far. Or at least I think so, but we'll never truly know unless she decides to speak about it, which she hasn't done yet. So let me know what you guys think about this. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. I hope you guys are continuing to stay safe. Some of you may be wondering why I'm wearing a hat. Haven't been able to get a haircut in a very long time. So it's just a lot easier to put a hat on when I'm recording. But again, I hope you guys are staying safe. Hope you guys continue to have a great day, great week, great month, great year. And like always, I will catch you next video.